organization. This is a movement. I'm Thomas Rowe, joined by my host, Aaron Charles, today. And today, we're sitting down with Jared Pinkney, a former NFL tight end turned independent financial professional. Jared played at Vanderbilt University, where he was named second team All-SEC and was projected as a first-round NFL draft pick. He went on to play for the Atlanta Falcons, Tennessee Titans, Detroit Lions, Los Angeles Rams, and Chicago Bears. But Jared's story isn't about football. After his NFL career, Jared brought the same discipline, focus, and teamwork that defined his sports career into a world of financial services. Today, he helps individuals, families, and entrepreneurs build strong financial foundations and achieve long-term security through personalized strategy, focus, and debt management, wealth accumulation, risk protection, and intelligent planning. What sets Jared apart is commitment to diversity, accessibility, and empowerment, serving clients from all walks of life and education, clarity, and tools to promote real financial independence. We're diving into the truth behind what it really takes to build identity, discipline, and legacy in sports and in life. So let's get into it. Welcome to the Standard Podcast. Jared, you're an absolute rock star for joining us. Thanks for taking time out of your day to join us. We appreciate it.
No, thank you both. This is going to be great. I can already tell.
Awesome. You went from being a projected as a first-round NFL draft out of Vanderbilt, playing for 5 NFL teams, and now you're building a career in financial services. What does raising the standard mean to you, especially as you've made that transition?
I think it's using what's been made better by those before you, and then like trying to take that and make it better for those after you, right? Like making it about pushing the people forward, pushing your people forward, because naturally you come along with that.
Sure. Right on. What is the biggest lie or misconception? Aaron, I'm sorry, are you on mute? I'm getting a lot of feedback. What is the biggest lie you feel or misconception you feel the culture of sports, the sports industry sold athletes about money, financial security, and preparing for life after football?
I think I don't like the confusion between being bold and arrogant, right? So the definition of being bold is, fearless before danger. Sure. And I think that there's a lot of guys that have a very sure sense of self. They present that in a manner of speaking, but it can be received as brash and arrogant. And arrogant is defined as over-exaggerating your worth or whatnot. And I don't think it's a choice of, wanting to inflate somebody's ego in terms of athletes, people in leadership positions. I think it is just people that have that kind of high identity, that high performance identity. That's what it looks like. They're very bold, very sure of themselves, and they know the value that they're bringing to the table. So I think I would just tell them to be sure, be bold, continue to be bold, and keep that confidence in yourself.
Right on. Yeah, that's perfect. And also that you played at Vanderbilt in the SEC, you went undrafted and still made it to the NFL, playing for the Falcons, Titans, Lions, Rams, and Bears. How did that journey shape your understanding of discipline, resilience, and what it takes to build something that lasts?
I think it was huge, very instrumental, because like you said, there was success in college, and then there was a lull on my part where I wasn't as successful. And, I don't want to say consequences, but there are things that you have to deal with, essentially, with what happens there. So being somebody who came in one way or thought they were coming in one way and had to come in a different way, it really prepared me for life.
Right on.
I think having that ability to pivot, we say we don't panic, we pivot.
Sure.
But being able to do that in real time with your dream, I think really builds character, discipline, integrity, all that stuff.
Awesome. We're going to move over to segment 2, which is identity and legacy. I'm going to turn that over to Aaron, and we're going to tag team meet. Aaron, you're up. Take it away.
Okay, my turn, which I love. Okay, so I want to know, and I want you to share with our audience, who is Jared beyond the accolades of what you've accomplished, whether it was being the second team all ACC tight end at Vanderbilt to making your NFL debut with the Lions. Who is Jared, and how do you define character, integrity, and discipline?
I am, at the risk of sounding corny, I am constantly trying to improve. I'm a follower of Christ, husband, brother, son, friend, all of that stuff. But most importantly, I try to identify somebody who's trying to continue to grow, continue to learn, just be better than I was yesterday, right? Like as a financial professional with movies, because I also attend SCAD, I'm in film school. So just wanting to be somebody who is constantly broadening their horizons, right? Yeah, and I mean, of course, athlete is in there as well, but just a little bit understated these days.
I love it. What about how does character, integrity, and discipline show up in your life now that you're off the field?
Yeah, I mean, a big way, definitely in my job where I'm dealing with people, dealing with their finances, their plans and whatnot, making sure that I'm always keeping the client's best interest at heart, right? And always being sure that we're on the up and up. Compliance, of course, is a deal, but just the more important part, I said I'm a follower of Christ. I can't truly believe in his vision and his way, his word, if I'm not taking care of his children, right? So always making sure that it's in a place of high integrity, like high value, high credibility is a good way to put it as well.
I love that. So you bring all of that from the football field to financial services. What does it mean from a legacy standpoint? So what does legacy beyond performance, beyond the football field, beyond all the things that you've done as an athlete mean to you? And how do you help others build that now in the financial sector?
Yeah, for sure. I think one of the big things about legacy is when people say your name, how do they feel when they hear it or when they say it? I like to believe that I'm always trying to be somebody who's building that positive association, right? So, somebody says your name, they see it, they hear it. They should think of the qualities that you were. Like, he was kind, he was somebody who followed through, who did what he was going to say, he was highly credible. Like he was competent, right? Like he knew what he was doing, what he was talking about. And that happened because he cared. And we knew that he cared. So legacy is a big thing for me. I truly believe like it's the goal at the end of the day to be somebody who people have an opinion of, and it can be good or bad. At the end of the day, that's on you. But legacy and as a whole, I think is the whole reason that we're here.
I totally agree with you. And I think it's the impact that we leave. It's how do people feel when they're not in our presence long after that we're gone. Right. I know that you're passionate about diversity, accessibility, and empowerment in financial services. Why does this matter to you so much? And what's the connection between that mission and your journey as an athlete?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. I think that it all starts with inclusion, diversity, credibility. I think that credibility is built from diversity, right? And I don't mean just for the sake of having different people in the room. I mean for the sake of pursuing a different perspective. So if you're somebody who has constantly been around people that you were raised with, that share your experiences, then you're not going to be able to broaden your horizons to include other people's experiences, right? So yes. I think that diversity is a big thing for me because as someone who's always chasing improvement, and if you know that there's more to be learned, like that's the way to learn it, right? To go shift your perspective, change the way that you've been doing things, because what you know has gotten you to the point that you're at. That's what's gotten you to where you are today. So if you want to improve that, you got to know different stuff.
Yeah, that's such a great point. I love the diversity of perspectives. Like, I think we conflate that. I think we've conflated that in the wrong way, I think, in our society, because it's really about those different perspectives that help us grow. So That is so powerful. What's one truth you wish every athlete, especially those still playing, understood about money, financial planning, and preparing for life beyond the game?
For preparing for life, it's easier to be yourself. Like as the
So true.
people, yeah, like as the not the people, as a person who is, pretended at different points to like have a different opinion for the sake of peace. Like it just in the end it's going to come up anyway. And I've I had to learn it from a different type of perspective. Like I was the one who was always speaking their opinion in college, and I want to have debates. I want to have. It was mainly sports, but anything we can have the conversation. But at the end of the day, you don't want to just be disrespecting and rude to people's views, rather, like to their opinions. But for money and advice in that realm, that aspect, I think you should be able to celebrate what you're earning as athletes, especially in this day, right? The best way to do that is to get with somebody who knows how to make it work for you, so that you're not worried about that kind of stuff. You know that you're secure. You know that it's going to be generating and compounding and whatnot. But I think that's the main way to be able to enjoy it. To know that it's not gonna run out tomorrow. I'm not making bad decisions, but having that wisdom about it.
I love that. I guess I'm going to turn it back over to Thomas for, I think, one of our favorite segments, which is advice across all stages.
Jared, got a question for you. Got actually a series of questions. If you could sit down with Jared, high school Jared, when you're getting recruited, what advice would you give a young athlete on picking that school, and how did you pick Vanderbilt?
Yeah, if I was sitting down with my high school self, I would tell them, don't take the reputation for granted.
Okay.
Like the one that you're building, the one that you're feeding and fueling every single day. Because when I didn't figure out until I transitioned and was done playing that there's so many people that are rooting for you and so many people also that are watching, right? So don't take for granted if you're not getting what you want, that you're doing things the right way.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, that's what's important, right? Like people aren't going to remember the exact details of your path, but they'll always remember how you made them feel.
Of course.
Whether that's in watching you do the thing or as you're talking and dealing with people during a difficult time, while maybe your sport's not going great, don't let that bleed over into life or bleed it over into how you interact with people. Always treat people with kindness.
Perfect. I mean, it seems kind of obvious on Vanderbilt. We know the reputation of that education precedes just the football program. How did you choose Vanderbilt out of the other schools that that were recruiting you?
It came down to the academics for sure. It was, we still get to play in the SEC because, I had other schools like Florida, Miami, whatnot. But at the end of the day, I was an SEC kid, so I wanted to play in the SEC.
Got it.
But combining that with getting the Harvard of the South, quote unquote, education, I didn't really have that much more decision because not the coaches, but the two guys who recruited me, well, they were coaches, but I say not the coaches because it wasn't like, they're nameless, faceless. It was Brett Maxley, Charles Bankins. They came in, sat down in my living room. We had a great afternoon. And, eventually I just told my mom, like, this feels like home. This is where we want to go.
Right on.
And the rest is history.
Very cool. All right. So you have a breakout career at Vanderbilt, academically as well as athletically. Now you're projected a first-round pick. If you could sit down with Jared preparing for the draft, what would you tell that Jared?
That's a tough one. Honestly, there's a lot that I'd like to say to him, but I think the only thing I would be to trust God. Like,
there you go.
Just extend your hand out to Jesus, and whatever he taps it, and whatever he puts in it, just close your fist, bring it back, and then go figure out what you're going to do with that. For the sake of the non like over your head metaphors, I would definitely tell him to be tough.
Right on.
Like, life isn't always fair, and I'm not saying anything with like my situation is that. I'm saying preparing yourself to be tough for when life doesn't give you what you want or does get tough. There's always benefit to that.
Sure.
And I mean, always guard your heart and be cognizant of who you present yourself to be to other people. And in that, protect yourself the best you can without closing yourself off.
Sure. That's awesome. What stood out to me the most on that answer was the fact that you say trust God, right? So many times I've been in a situation where I would say, hey, God, I think I've got this all figured out. I think we should execute it this way, and this way. And God's like, okay, you got it all figured out. Have a seat on the throne. I'm going to have a seat over here. And when it doesn't work out your way, come on back, my son. And it's happened so many times, but it's taken me a little bit longer to figure that out. So it is great advice to just trust God's plan, trust God's hand. So you're done with football, or you're starting to close out your football career, and you got to start thinking about your transition from the NFL field to the corporate field or to the professional field outside of the game. How did you choose finance?
Yeah. So for a long time, I actually was running from that. I didn't want to do the money thing, didn't want to deal with finances at all. It actually started because I was supposed to build a budget out for myself, my wife, and I. And it got to the point where I needed help. So when somebody named Kevin Taylor reached out on LinkedIn, he was like, hey, I am a financial professional. I do all this kind of stuff with wealth management, accumulation, debt management, all of that stuff. And I was like, okay, sure. I'll take the meeting. He's told me the meeting was free anyway. And at the end of it, we met 3 times, and I ended up getting myself situated. And I just realized that I really wanted to be somebody like that, who was helping people with, he was very knowledgeable. He was very he was very gracious, right? He was patient in the areas that I needed help. And I was just really appreciative of that. I wanted to be that to other people.
Got it. And now you're helping families and entrepreneurs build financial security. What's the one thing you're trying to make sure people understand about money that you had to learn the hard way?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think the biggest thing, well, there's 2. Don't learn the lessons the hard way is the biggest one, of course, because we're talking about money. But also, the rules are the rules. We're not talking loopholes, but understanding the rules is how wealthy people are able to remain wealthy. Getting there is one way, staying there, or getting there is one thing, is staying in there. It's how much you keep of what you make, right?
Right.
So truly understanding the tax codes and the different regulations that are associated with money, how much you're getting charged, what interest rates are, what they mean, and blah, blah, blah. I think that's the biggest thing, understanding the game.
Got it. I think you answered my next question, so you can kind of just elaborate on that. And how do you develop future leaders in the financial space? What advice would you give to someone who's entrepreneurial, coachable, and looking for a meaningful career change into finance?
Be knowledgeable. Definitely be knowledgeable. This is a highly regulated industry. It's highly compensated as well. But you just have to know what you're doing. It's
right.
In your best interest, obviously, but the way I'm saying it, in the client best interest, right? You're dealing with people's life savings, their dreams, their futures, their present, all of the stuff. I think that is the biggest thing that I would say. Just be cognizant of the responsibility that you have or that you want to have.
Got it. You know what? When you're saying that, and then I'm going to turn it over to Aaron, it almost seems like your athletic career prepped you for this, because you think about when you're watching film on the team that you're about to be playing, defensive coverages, et cetera, et cetera. It's the same thing with finance. You got to know the interest rates. You have to know the tax code. You have to. I mean, it seems like it was just a natural transition for you. I know there was a lot of work, but it seems like a natural transition.
Somewhat of one. Like the fact that there's a playbook is the same, but honestly, other than that, it really just the entrepreneurship part is definitely what the most familiar, what the most similar one is, because we've been managing our own schedules as athletes for pretty much our entire life. But the financial part, that's that's different.
Gotcha. Makes sense. All right, we're going to turn it over to Aaron for segment 4, which is the rapid fire round. Aaron, take it away.
Okay, here we go. I'm going to ask you to finish my sentence. So basically, I'll start it and you get to finish it, okay?
Got you.
Discipline equals.
Foundation.
Leadership equals.
Vulnerability.
Faith equals.
Freedom.
Legacy equals.
Mission.
What's one thing you would never compromise on?
Integrity. That's what's driving the heart.
And what's one message, if you could put it on a billboard for the next generation of athletes, what would that message be?
Celebrate your hard work and celebrate your money. In order to do that, you just have to have someone who knows what to do with both.
That's awesome. Okay, listen to his advice, kids. Okay, Thomas, take it away.
Awesome. We're coming to the end here, Jared. We really appreciate it. And before we wrap up, is there something we didn't touch on today that you feel like athletes, families, or entrepreneurs need to hear about financial planning, building wealth, and life after sports?
Yes. So growing money tax-free, when we're talking about growing money tax-free, when we're talking about protecting your money, getting to a position where you're not able to outlive your money, because that's a huge fear for people that are older. All of the things that you might have hoped for in terms of finances, but never been able to conceptualize or like really articulate, talk, speak, they might be possible. You're one conversation away from clarity. A lot of the things that you do want are possible. It's just, again, you're one conversation away from clarity. So don't be afraid to reach out.
Right on. Last question. Top 3 sports movies of all time for Jared.
Man, Remember the Titans is definitely up there. Top 3, I don't know. I feel like not Glory. What's the basketball one?
Who's in it?
I can't remember any names. Like I'm one of those guys. It's really Remember the Titans is my number one. Everything after that is it can get a little corny. I think Friday Night Lights is probably the third. Friday Night Lights. I hope I said Friday Night Lights. I'm
guessing now Wall Street for Oliver Stone and Wolf of Wall Street probably now the new world that you're in. That's awesome. Jared, let's tell the people where they can connect with you on, whether that's social media or LinkedIn or your website. Where can people get a hold of you?
Absolutely. So I am on LinkedIn. You can message me anytime. And then social media, Instagram, it's _Jared Pinkney. And you can also message me on there. My calendars are on both. You can set free appointments or you can apply to work with us if you want a remote job with flexibility and potential equity place.
Awesome. Hey, Jared, thank you so much for sharing your story and your truth. This is one of my favorite podcasts simply because we get right through it. You just were nailing these questions. A lot of times, sometimes people like to hear themselves talk and they go on and on and on and on. And it's nice that you hit it right where we needed you to. And team, if this conversation challenged you, inspired you, or made you think differently, do us a favor and share it. Send it to an athlete preparing for life after sports, a family trying to build a financial security, an entrepreneur looking for guidance and wealth building. If you're looking for a avenue in wealth and wealth management and finance, Jared is your guy. So go ahead and reach out to Jared. We'll have it in the show notes. This is the Standard Podcast, and this movement only grows when you raise the standard together. Talent fades, but truth endures. We are blueprintbluechip.com. We have a 3-day reset called Win Play Show. So if you're looking to challenge yourself and up your game, book an appointment with us and we'll take you through that. It's absolutely free. It's complimentary, and we'll just kind of take you through what our whole program is about. Let's raise the bar, rebuild the culture, and become the standard. We'll see you next time. Jared, thanks so much. Aaron, you guys rock. Appreciate it. Have a great day, team.
Thank you.